welcome everybody. Spec Ops Monkey here. It is March 16th, 2021 at about 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Coming to you from the great state of Texas. And so without further ado, we'll start unpacking. So this is our current up. I mentioned the other day I would either go early or go really late. And so I'm attempting to go a little early. So our board's going to be a little light this morning, but our content will be pretty focused. We've got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to get into it right now. But you guys see this congestion over Texas because those are all trainers. And so, again, just kind of a normal thing we're seeing here. But let me get into Florida because we, again, have a lot of P8 activity going on. And so let me see where that little BE20 is coming from. That's not showing. It's showing NA right now, but I wouldn't be surprised. That could be one of our Gitmo birds, but we'll see. But anyway, as I digress. So let's take a look here. We've got multiple P8s up again. As you guys can see, again, this is Port Canaveral. Now, there is a known Trident sub program that goes in and out of this place that is run by Lockheed Martin, and Lockheed has been there since mercy long as I've been alive. These guys have been there. So but that's a Trident nuclear sub program, and I know that because my grandfather was on that program, and he retired with Lockheed. And so and also the fact that I worked for Lockheed for about 18 years, and so pretty familiar with their operations. So but I don't know if these are related because it seems kind of silly to go out here and start trying to drop comms. I think what we have is we've got somebody in the water that's not supposed to be, and they are trying to find them. And so here's another P8. So we got 3 P8s out over the area doing some searching. And so you can see these patterns are not a typical search grid. These are just kind of, random, hey, let's have a look kind of thing. They may be dropping some booms in the water or some things in the water to look. And here's another one. That's our third P8. Again, very odd patterns here. They're not like your typical search grids. So and so we've got 3 of them. These two look like they're kind of falling in line with each other. Altitude, one of them's at 9,200 feet, and this one 9,200. 12 descending, it's at 12,004, actually 375. He's dropping pretty quickly, so it looks like he's popping right in behind this guy. And this one's at 16,000, and so I don't know if he's going to follow suit. But just to add insult to injury, we have another sub hunter coming down right now. This is a P3, and he's just rolling right down the coastline. And we'll see where he goes. But his altitude, he's also on the descent. He's at 18,000 feet and descending. So let's see. We'll watch this area here, and I'll come back to it in a couple minutes. But very interesting. I mean, to see 4 of these bad dudes out over the coast every day. That's what's getting really strange. This has been going on for 2 weeks. So we've got somebody loitering out here, I would imagine, that is just messing with them. So, all right, got a little C-130. Looks like that bad dude is headed out. That's got a reach call sign. Of course, that's not your normal reach call sign. Normally just RCH. So it must be a newbie behind the controls there. So, okay. So that said, let's get up here, take a look. Look like we have some weather rolling across here in the southeast, and we're gonna kind of go into the TFRs real fast, and then I'm going to come back to it. Now this afternoon, if we go look at Biden's schedule, it looks like he is getting on Air Force One they're calling it Air Force One here, but I've yet to see the call sign that. So at about 2:00, he's going to be departing Andrews for heading to Philly. Okay. And so we know that the VP is in, she's over in Nevada, Las Vegas, playing the slots, and then she's going to head to Los Angeles, and I think that's her home, okay, the LA area. And then we've got somebody heading over to Denver, Colorado. Now, I saw originally there were plans that said that Biden and Harris were going to be in Denver, but now it looks like it's just Harris. So it looks like they've scaled his stuff back. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if we go back and look at his schedule, this stage's wrapping up at like 1:45 in the afternoon, 6:45. Now, you guys remember Trump. That's 5 p.m. starting at noon. When Trump was in office, that guy, his literal schedule, he would start at 7 a.m. and work until, I mean, he would come back from places at 10, 11 p.m. at night. So Biden's definitely working very reduced schedule, half days, it looks like. So I think it's because he's just not with it. That's what I think personally. And this right here is probably, now check this out. This is what's really I find interesting is that he's heading over to Pennsylvania, okay? And then from there, he's going back home to Wilmington, Delaware, which is kind of unusual, right? I mean, this guy is spending a lot of time in Wilmington and not at the White House. So I don't know, man. Something just seems odd about this. Now, I also find it odd that he has yet to even do a State of the Union, which, you know, I look back to see, did Trump do one when he first got in office? And he did in 2017 on February 28th, I think it is. I mean, he was just 8 days into office and he held a State of the Union address. So this is, you know, I think, honestly, I'll be shocked if this guy makes it through the 12 months. I think he's got advanced dementia. I think that these guys are just, all they can do to keep him out of the public eye. He can't handle, you know, the long days because he just doesn't have the cognizance to do it. And so I think we're going to probably see God help me here, but we could have a President Harris in office here pretty soon because I just don't see how this guy's going to make it through it. It's too stressful for somebody that's got advanced dementia like he has. And so, okay, anyway, so it looks like they're going to prop him up in Pennsylvania, and we're going to watch again this afternoon about 2 o'clock. I'm going to look for that Air Force One call sign because there's no reason why this guy shouldn't be flying that call sign unless something else is going on. Okay. All right. So let's go look at the TFRs real fast just to make sure we are, you know, kind of looking at the right stuff. I've got us obviously out in the Philippines. Those are all the earthquakes that are out there. I did turn off fires because it was just blowing up. And there are a lot of fires in the U.S. right now. So, all right. Now, this is the active TFRs. Now, we do have some stuff. We've got one down here on the border of Mississippi, Louisiana. That's down there near New Orleans. We've got two in Texas. This one is actually, I think it's related to Fort Hood. And that could be why we're seeing the Air France and the French Air Force and the Brits coming over here to Fort Hood. It's either foreign military related or NATO related, but they've been going now for almost 2 weeks, back and forth. So let's see if we'll see them again today, but it's still a little early. So, all right, now here this is going to be the VIPs. This is the Denver stuff we were talking about a minute ago, and let's see, Harris. I don't see around LA. Let's see if that is a TFR. Let's see if that is her. Yeah, VIP. So this one I know is Harris related. Okay, they had a secondary, but it looks like that thing has been shut down. So, all right, we'll close that up and back out. But that's going to be the Vegas. That's Harris. That's Harris. This is Harris. It was supposed to be Biden, but they reduced the schedule. And of course, now they're keeping these in play because he is going back home after he just spent the weekend there. So, okay. It is what it is. Now, I don't see, this is still, it's going to be your red permanent TFR over Washington, D.C. That's always there. That's over the Brown Zone and the Senior Living Center. And so now this one is new right here down in Florida. Excuse me. We've got a little bit of a box here. Let me pop in on this and see what we have. It looks like it's hazards. Excuse me. That's going to be... Man, that's okay. So it looks like that's Everglades related. So I don't know. There may be some fires going on or something happening out here. This is swamp territory, but I don't know. That's kind of strange, but it is actually tied into that. Let's see here if there's anything. Yeah, fire. There it is down at the bottom. Okay, so it looks like they've got a fire out here in Florida, so South Florida. Orlando, that's Disney World, always has a TFR. Okay, and let's button that up. Button up the Biden travel schedule. And let's get back over to where we were. So on this, we're going to continue to watch this activity. I want to see really where these P8s continue to go. Now this one here, let's see how far down this one travels. And we've got a little BE20 trailer right behind that one. So, okay. And these guys are right on top of each other. But yeah, that's definitely suspect. And let's see, 8,200 feet and 9,200 feet. So they got 1,000-foot separation between these two. So, okay. All right, we'll come back to that. Now let's get over. Europe is popping right now, but it's probably because it's still pretty early over there. But take a look at it. But it's cracking. Lots and lots of stuff. But these look to be a lot of trainers here. Probably a lot of training activity is what we're looking at. But got a little, who is that? That's going to be an A400. And that's a German Air Force A400 headed down to, looks like they are headed, I seriously doubt they're going to Tel Aviv. So they're probably headed into the Middle East somewhere beyond that, like probably Saudi, somewhere in that range. This is going to be, looks like they're coming out of Cyprus. That's going to be United Kingdom Airbus. And there's no telling their altitude. They're sitting pretty high, 25,000 feet. And so we'll see. Okay. And then got it chock full down here near Kuwait City right now. We have C-130. That's a U.S. C-130. We have a C-17, which is the Moose call sign, and 2 C-17s. And then a little SAM, which is going to be a U.S. dignitary. And so that guy, that's a special air mission aircraft. Looks to be headed in as well. Now that altitude's pretty high, so you may be heading on down into UAE area, I would imagine. So he's at 41,000 feet, which is that's up there. So okay, now let's get into some of the other areas. Well, let's look here at the UK real fast before I go. Shiny objects, I'm telling you, that's going to be a gunship, A64 Apache. And these are little trainers. Again, trainers. Yeah, it looks like UK's got a lot of training activity going on. A couple Eurofighters up right here. These are 3 Eurofighters. And then that's an air refueler. So, okay. Over to this one. Now, I want to show you, this is unusual. Now, this one just took off and it's landing in Guantanamo Bay right now. Everything else on the board for Guantanamo looks normal. I am not seeing any Charleston flights inbound this week. So that tells me there was definitely something going on there last week. Unless they start showing up on the schedule again. But it's Tuesday and there's nothing on the docket in terms of scheduled arrivals. But here's one of the things I want to show you. This one just popped in. You don't see these very often. Now, this is a little Saab aircraft. It's a Saab 340. It's a twin-engine turboprop. As you guys can see from the picture over here, this is what it looks like. But coming out of Miami is very unusual. We don't see that happen very often. Really, it's not a frequent thing. So I would say we'll keep an eye on that one. That's kind of suspect to me. Okay, just seems a little suspect because remember, if they're going to bring any prisoners into this location, it's going to be via charter. Okay. All right, so that one, and that's IBC. Now, IBC is a regular. They do come in and out, but they're usually out of Fort Lauderdale. That's why that one flagged for me, because you don't see it, like I said, very often. All right, now this is going to be Camp Justice. Now, one of the things I want to point out is that on the arrival board, this aircraft doesn't show up, but it just happens to be on the departure board. And I don't know what it is. It just is an unknown. Now, that little WW-24 is a West Wind. It's a twin jet. And IAI, I think it's an Israeli aircraft manufactured, but it is it's kind of like your Citation. It's or a little Learjet. It's pretty nice airplane. But this thing didn't show, I don't know when it arrived, but it just leaves and heads over to, it looks like it's heading to, that is Blang Batang. I don't know where that is. Indonesia, I guess. So anyway, just a rare thing. You don't see those very often. And like I said, you have to really watch sometimes both boards, arrivals and departures, as well as schedule, because you'll get stuff that doesn't show up on the arrivals and you happen to catch it leaving. And so that's the situation. And now Camp Justice, for you guys that aren't familiar with that, that's out here in the middle of the Indian Ocean. So it's basically a little tiny spot, but it is a prison location. Camp Justice is that's where they were housing detainees. So, and they still are, to my knowledge. So, okay, over here to the Kalita side. Let's see. Now this is going to be. Now notice it's gone to West Palm. It's just kind of unusual too. Kalita typically has these routes that they fill pretty regularly back and forth. They'll get on a schedule or a rhythm. The only time I see them pop out of rhythm is when they're doing rendition kind of stuff, where they're going to multiple different locations and their schedule is kind of erratic, and you'll see them all of a sudden pop into the spa. I haven't seen a Kalita bird in the spa in quite a while, but this one came from, looks like it went from San Bernardino, California to Little Rock, Arkansas, Little Rock to New Orleans, New Orleans over to West Palm Beach. Now, of course, you know who is in West Palm Beach, and that's going to be Trump. So, and now this is a 727-200. So that's a kind of an old bird, very, very old bird, actually. You guys can see the photos here. But, yeah, that's what it looks like. And you see there's not a lot of windows on here. And the reason for that is because they typically are using, it's a cargo jet. Okay. So, all right. Now let's go over here to 331, which is another one of our Kalita birds. Now this one was for a while heading over to the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Now they've got an alternate 737 that's doing that flight right now. And this is the one that we've been watching because, again, this thing is going, it's every day back and forth, Charleston, South Carolina to El Paso. And so El Paso is getting my attention because I'm watching troop support come into here. I'm watching a lot of FEMA money going into here. And so I think what we have is we've got a huge influx of immigration and unaccompanied minors. And I think they are doing everything they can to try and get these people dispositioned and into our country. Okay, they're not. They probably have a housing facility down there. We've seen it. But one thing I do find interesting is that, if this was Trump and that was going on, this thing would be all over the news and there'd be just a huge crisis situation going on. Okay, and this is not a peep. I'm having to dig hard to find anything news related to this situation going on, and so. It's amazing how biased our media is, just simply amazing. So, okay, now let's get over here to this San Nicolas Island. And so I want to show you something. One, I'm going to show you the island because when you see the amount of flights going to this location, it's definitely odd. Okay, now these are regular flights. Every one of these are gray birds, and you can see it. It starts at 7:02 a.m. and there's 2 aircraft. And so we can add another one, N410PA, to our watch list. But these are little Embraer 120s. They look very similar to that Saab I just showed you going into Miami. Little twin engine puddle jumper. But they've got a schedule for sure. I mean, they're hitting this thing. 2 of them fly out at 7:02. We got another one at 2:30 p.m. And then at 8:42 a.m., 8:30 p.m. or a.m., sorry. And then over here on the departures. So these are arrivals, okay? And then here you've got the round trip. So these are dropping off, coming back. So there was a similar schedule to this. And the reason this looks so familiar is because when I lived out in Kwajalein, this was, we did that same thing. We were taking engineers up to Roy Namora, which was one of the outer islands, and that was one of our routine flights. So, you had that rhythm all day. So, but here's what's crazy. This is a naval installation. Okay, it's owned and operated just like Kwajalein is the Army. This is the Navy. Okay, and they do missile programs out of here, and they'll basically do launch drones and stuff, and just different things like that. But look at this picture of this place. It is literally a patch. And now this, I don't know how old this picture is, and I'm sure they've got facilities built in around here now, and it's probably built up pretty well, but that's a 10,000 foot runway. And so it looks very small from here, you know, when you're looking at it, but 10,000 foot, you can land C5s on there, you can land C-17s, B-52s could do that. I mean, I think ideally B-52 is like 12,000 feet, but 10,000 is pretty, that is a long, all right? So that is a heck of a runway for a little patch right here. So, but that's, I think, what we have going on there. It's just I don't know, it's just government contract stuff, just like we see when we're looking at a lot of the flights El Segundo to China Lake and that kind of stuff. Okay, same thing. All right, so let's go check on our DOJ real fast. This is going to be, now these guys, this landed about 19 hours ago, but they went from Wichita, Kansas to Albuquerque, New Mexico. So you have a team deployed in Albuquerque, New Mexico of the DOJ. So eyes on. Let's see what they are up to. But that is typically wherever these guys go, some kind of press will come out eventually. There's operations going on, so that they are probably I don't even know what they're doing. Who knows? It's amazing they're doing anything, honestly. But if it's not coming after us, I'm okay. All right. Okay. Now these are going to be our Atlas Airs, and so we talked about these a little bit earlier. Now the Atlas Air, if you guys aren't familiar, that's the largest 747 fleet in the world. These guys are basically heavy movers, and they move just tons and tons of stuff all over the globe. Okay, but most of their activity is going to be out of Asia, over here to the U.S. and down here in South America. Okay, that's kind of their heavy spots. They operate. Their headquarters is out of Winchester, New York, or at least it used to be, and Miami. Those are two of their big hubs in terms of people. Okay, and so now the reason I'm looking at them is because I'm watching for other activities in terms of movements. Now keep in mind, these guys also move troops, and you can get a pretty good indication when you see these aircraft starting to go to places in the Middle East. You know, we're ramping up for something, because this is kind of an overflow, and you can get a lot of bodies on a 747. Okay, now here's why I'm looking at this, because again, we've got this one right here, El Paso, en route. Excuse me, and that's going to be let's see here. So it's coming out of Kentucky into El Paso. Now, I don't know what they're up to, but that is a 767-200. So they could be bringing people back and forth. They could be bringing supplies. There could be all kinds of stuff. But just the fact that Atlas is engaged, Atlas is a big DoD service provider. So the fact that they're engaged, I'm telling you, there is something. If we've got anybody that lives down here in El Paso and you're got your ear to the ground, I would love to hear from you, because I'm really curious to see what's going on down here. But I think this activity, I think we're seeing the troops showing up because they're trying to keep it contained. But I have a feeling we've got a caravan that's right here at this spot, or on almost to that spot. Okay. All right. Now let's head over here to, now this is going to be your Border Patrol aircraft, okay? And so Homeland Security, I'm watching these guys. Now I mentioned, I guess, a few weeks ago that I've got a book with literally 75 tail numbers for Border Patrol and Homeland Security, and it's a lot of helos, a lot of Cessnas, and most of them are pretty active. And so there's a couple in El Paso, and so this one was 4 days ago, and I have 2 or 3 others that I'm making notes of that I'm watching. But just to kind of give you an idea of what these guys are up to, and just kind of confirms what we were talking about earlier, right? These guys look to be really working that borderline right there quite a bit. So if that tells you, you know, kind of the spread and how, you know, what's going on, it seems to be all coming through here. Now, I don't know if this is a road right here, and that may be the main coming inbound, but No telling, but I think this kind of confirms what we were looking at, with Homeland Security doing their checks. So the altitude line is the green line. As you guys can see, they don't look like they're dipping down and doing anything low altitude. This is 4,000 feet, and they seem to maintain that. So the airspeed definitely looks like they stall out and are getting some eyes on stuff. So, okay. Let's see here. Now, last but not least, we're going to look at our sniffer, which is currently up. And so that is in the brown zone, and we're going to get down here and see where he is headed. That's a little bit of rain here on the radar. Again, if you notice, this thing keeps dipping down here into these areas right here. That's got Club K's written all over it, right? And that's one of the things that I've said many times in the past, is that I feel like the sniffer activity is, if there's going to be a threat, they're going to come right up here into this waterway because you launch a Club K from anywhere in here onto Washington, D.C. and the capital. You are talking just a matter. It's about 5 minutes to deploy it, and it would be literally less than probably a minute before it actually hit its target. And so when you're talking chemical, biological, nuclear, there's no way you can even prevent that. Now, I know they have missile systems here that would knock something down, but still, if it's chemical or biological, you're going to have a containment issue, okay? So we'll continue to watch this one, but this guy looks like he is headed northeast right now, and so he usually flies about an hour and a half. So that's going to put him, if I had to guess, see how long he is into it so far. Not seeing here. So hour and 50-minute duration. Yeah, that's going to be his total flight time. So he should be back. I would imagine he's going to be wrapping up and coming back here pretty quickly. So. All right, folks. Well, listen, that is what I have for today. We'll get back over here. Let's take one last quick look at, let me back up and get over the U.S. I want to take a last quick look here at our P8 activity, see if we've got anything else. Now, this is a tanker coming down, trainer, that's a little citation. That's a pretty nice bird. That's probably going to be senior staff kind of guy rolling into Jack's Naval Air Station. That little Darnier, that's gonna be a C-146. Those are what the Spec Ops guys use coming out of Crestview. So that may be what we're looking at there. And let's get in here. I just want to see one more time. I do like the call sign on that, tactical. So this guy, I mean, again, very, very, very unusual. And these guys have been down here for a while now. And you can see this one here still doing his circling. So altitude, they're 9,200 feet. So they've got, they're up high enough where they could see something, but they're probably low enough where they could drop some stuff too. That one's at 13,000. Again, look at these crazy patterns. I'm telling you, there's something out there, folks. Gotta be 100%. All right, and remember, this is now that's our P3 headed southbound, and he looks to be 14,000 feet descending. We'll see where he goes, but right now he is just about over the Trump location, that's West Palm. So we'll see where he goes and what he does. But I'll keep an eye on that, and if anything changes throughout the day, I'll be watching. I'll come back on with some updates, just strictly on Patreon. Okay, and we'll be definitely be watching for an Air Force One call sign this afternoon around 2 o'clock. So, all right, folks, that's all I've got. So you guys, hope you have a great day, and appreciate you tuning in. And we will talk soon. God bless. Monkey out.